Good morning, everyone. I did get my cash benefits, which is good. Um, because since I've been out of work, I rely on that money. I wish I didn't have to rely on that money, but that's what I have right now. So I need to use it for things like paying my cell phone bill, the rest of it, and food. Um, but anyways, I've been really fighting to get out of this situation for a long time. March is when I was evicted, and it's been 7 months. And anybody that knows me, I'm someone who's always worked. Someone that had a car, someone who graduated from college in 2010 when I was in my early 20s. Like I was 22 when I graduated college. With a 3.7 GPA. I'm someone that's always had good credit. In 2013, I got my car new, a Toyota Corolla, because I had excellent credit. And I had that car for 12 years, almost 13 years. But then in September, since I couldn't afford the repairs, I had to get rid of it. I've just, seen my life just fall down the drain. My stuff being auctioned off from my storage unit, just losing everything that I had. And then having my dog, have that horrible injury at Harvard Square. Thank God he's recovering. But I've been through hell, to say the least. And I've been trapped. And I've applied to some jobs yesterday, and it's just, of course I want to work. Why haven't I worked? I'm sure that's what a lot of, the evil racists and the judgmental people will say. I've applied to so many places in my field, and other jobs too. And this is so out of the ordinary. So it really sucks to see your life go down the drain like this, and yeah, it really is. And I filled out one housing application that was a place that covered several apartment buildings in Revere and Chelsea. I emailed a building in Lynn. And I tried to fill out the CHAMP application, and it just wasn't recognizing the email that I put in, even though I put in a different email this time around. It was just giving me a hard time. And and I when I, like, back in May, my plan was not to go on any type of subsidized housing. I said to myself, okay, well, if I get paid enough, I can get my own apartment and just pay market value. Obviously, I would go somewhere that was affordable. That would be like the best case scenario, but I knew that in my field I don't get paid that much. So I was, back in May and June, reaching out to people, seeing if they, reaching out to people who were renting rooms, looking for roommates and stuff. Because for me at that time, I was like, that's probably what I'm going to have to do until I get back on my feet. So I didn't have any intention of subsidized housing or anything like that. Of course, if I had an apartment, if it was subsidized housing, and that's better than roommates. But I don't know what's going to happen. And it's quite scary, too, because, I was thinking about it more yesterday. I was like, even if I get a job, I usually haven't really made that much money. To get back on my feet, it's gonna take a while without anyone's help. It's gonna be really hard. And that, for me, was very depressing and very scary. And yesterday I did go to the meeting through Zoom about housing in Lynn, and I didn't have really a good experience. The first woman that I spoke to, she was pretty rude to me, saying, "Why didn't you apply to CHAMP in March?" Because I wasn't trying to get subsidized housing. I was trying to see, if I could maybe get a better paying job or live with roommates for the time being. But, so she was pretty judgmental about that. And, she just, was giving me an attitude, and I was just like, whatever. I mean, it was a Zoom call. In fact, she had her camera shut off, so I didn't even see her face. Yeah, the meeting went on, and then she told me that there was somebody who wanted to, speak to me one-on-one in one of the private Zoom rooms about my situation. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Got on the Zoom call with this guy one-on-one, and he was very fixated, and so was the woman that I spoke to earlier in the meeting. She was very fixated on that 48-hour notice to vacate, saying that would help me with CHAMP, which, I mean, I don't believe. It makes me look like I was a bad tenant when really I was the victim in this. And I'm definitely a victim of institutional racism, and now I'm a victim of a hate crime because of what happened to my dog. But anyways, so they were both, the woman and the man, they were both very fixated on that 48-hour to vacate letter. So the guy said, "Let me look that up and try to find you," And I was like, okay. I mean, I gave him my name, and he immediately had that letter, which I didn't even have that letter anymore because I lost my storage unit. I didn't have a copy of that letter in my computer or anything like that. So the guy gave me the letter. I saved it on my computer. Then he gave me like the docket number for my case, and he's like, "Oh, I sent you that privately because they evicted you because of cause." And that's when I got upset and kind of told my story. I was like, I shouldn't have ever been evicted. It was an unlawful eviction. I wish I had a lawyer. And anyways, and he was just like very condescending, saying, "Oh, maybe you have mental issues." What mental issues? I mean, mental health stuff, depression, anxiety. I mean, obviously I'm not stupid, and if someone says, "Oh, you're crazy, that didn't happen," that's why there's videos, pictures, I save emails and all that. So I was very offended by the guy that said, maybe you have mental issues. Maybe he has mental issues. Maybe he's a psychopath or sociopath to be bothering me like that. The conversation with him was pretty brief, and I just hated being in that meeting, because I was just in that meeting for about an hour, and then I wanted to get out of it because I'm like, okay, I have somewhere to go. And then another person gets on the Zoom call with me, and it's someone who treats me like that. I mean, it's very discouraging to be in a situation like this and have people treat you that way and pass judgment on you and everything. And I just I don't really, I mean, I need housing. I don't really reach out too much to too many resources. I'm usually using the collaborative because they have helped me the most. I mean, yesterday there was a guy that gave me a new leash for Ross, so that was very helpful. Because when I go to other places, I don't know what my experience is going to be with people, and I don't want to put myself in a situation where I get offended by people, or they talk to me in a condescending way when I'm a smart person and I'm homeless because of institutional racism, not for anything else. So it's really hard, but I try to remain strong, and I'm going to continue fighting to try to get out of this situation. Alright guys, thanks for listening. I will talk to you later.